Доброго дня, вітання глядачам телепрограми Форум ТВ. Ми завжди тримаємо вас в курсі останніх новин з Канади та української громади. І сьогодні будемо говорити про дуже важливий законопроєкт, який був зареєстрований в Нижній палаті парламенту Канади. Законопроєкт, який має спростити процес надання Україні військової допомоги та підтримати українську оборонну промисловість. Законопроєкт вніс депутат від опозиційної консервативної партії Гарнет Дженіус. Зокрема, цей законопроєкт вимагає від уряду негайно передати Україні надлишкове військове спорядження Збройних сил Канади та скасувати або спростити експортний контроль щодо військового обладнання, яке вже прямує до України. І нашим гостем буде сьогодні автор цього законопроєкту, член парламенту від консервативної партії Гарнет Дженіус. So our guest today is Garnett Jenius. He's conservative member of parliament for Sherwud Park for Saskatchewan. He is also conservative shadow minister for international development. I'm glad to see you here again and welcome.
Thank you. It's lovely to be back with you today.
So, Mr. Genius, last week you introduced Bill C-388, an act to fast-track energy in mining projects and to facilitate the provision of munitions to Ukraine and develop its munitions industry. So, could you please share more details of this bill, please?
Well, thank you very much. Conservatives strongly support Ukraine. And of course, we're in regular touch with the Ukrainian embassy and others in the Ukrainian government to understand what are the urgent priorities. And they're the same that are being said publicly. Ukraine needs weapons, it needs more weapons, and it needs weapons quickly. It's not good enough to announce something and not deliver it or delay the delivery substantially. So Ukraine needs weapons. And then we also need to have tough and consistent sanctions against the aggressor to starve the Russian regime of the capacity to wage war. So my bill seeks to address both of these issues. It cleans up some red tape around the export of weapons. There are certain administrative processes associated with arms control, and it significantly streamlines those processes as it relates to arms being sold to Ukraine. And it also requires the government to regularly do an inventory of our existing munitions and to donate any equipment to Ukraine that is deemed surplus or unlikely to be used by Canada. I think we need a renewal of investment in our armed forces, and we can send to Ukraine equipment that we have in storage that we're unlikely to use in any plausible scenario and that Ukraine could use right now. And in the meantime, we can build up our own supplies with new equipment. So that's on the weapons side. On the sanctions side, and I think we've talked about this before, that Canada has a unique position in the democratic world. Most of the world's democracies are relatively geographically small, densely populated countries that rely on imports of key natural resources. Canada is unique within the free democratic world that we can be a supplier of natural resources to other free democracies and reduce their dependence on authoritarian powers. So this bill proposes to force the government to come up with a plan to fast-track energy projects with a particular view to displacing energy exports from hostile authoritarian regimes. I think this is of critical importance now because right now what the Canadian government is doing is actually the opposite. They have granted another sanctions waiver, another exemption to sanctions to allow the export of Russian titanium. And we know the Russian titanium industry is directly complicit, directly involved in producing war materials as well as acquiring money for the regime. So it's the wrong decision. Conservatives oppose this sanctions waiver. We should be developing industry here in Canada to displace commodities coming out of Russia, not granting waivers to sanctions. And I would say to the titanium industry, I'd say to the companies that are importing Russian titanium, this further invasion has been happening for 2 years. Ukraine was initially invaded in the attack on Crimea 10 years ago. If you are still, after 2 years, after 10 years, if you're still sourcing titanium from Russia, you deserve to have these sanctions continue, and you do not deserve a waiver because you have had a long time to think about and seek to identify other sources, and it's totally wrong for the government to be granting the sanctions waiver again. So this bill deals with weapons, and it deals with displacing materials out of Russia so that we can have stronger sanctions.
So time is crucial when it comes to delivering the provision of munitions to Ukraine. Every day and every hour counts. So could the Ukrainians be sure that this bill will start working in the shortest terms possible?
Well, the bill has two objectives. One, it contains substantive policy changes that, if passed, yes, would speed up the process. It also, the bill is there to emphasize and put pressure in terms of the importance of speed. Will it solve every problem in terms of delay? No, it won't. It identifies some of the things that we can solve through legislation, but the other piece that's needed is political will. And what I see from Canada's government is certainly a political will to talk the language of solidarity and to look like they care. But what really matters is the work you do to urgently deliver this equipment. We have instances where announcements have been made over a year ago, so we're trying to force the government to move further and faster, but this will ultimately come down to political will. So the bill is a step, but I think there's a lot of other things that need to be done as well.
Thank you. The previous Conservative government negotiated the original Canada-Ukraine Free Trade Agreement and launched Operation Unifier to train thousands of Ukrainian troops. Does the future Conservative government, if the party wins the elections, will continue working on these projects, and what else is on the table?
Yeah, so look, there's been some misinformation coming out of the Liberals on some of these issues. We strongly support Operation Unifier. You're right; it was something that we launched and have always supported. The issue of the free trade agreement, we support free trade with Ukraine, and we support engaging with Ukraine on economic development and on rebuilding. We had an issue with one of the provisions in the revised free trade deal in particular because it was about a carbon tax, and we don't support a carbon tax as Conservatives. It's not about Ukraine or free trade, but it's about a particular tax policy that the government tried to embed in that free trade deal. So look, if we had a Conservative government while that was negotiated, we would have emphasized other issues in that trade deal. And I think what you would see with a Conservative government is perhaps some discussions around some modifications, but really with an emphasis on doing more to support areas where we can do more in the areas of energy development, for example, of nuclear development, collaborations on supporting the development of Ukraine's munitions sector. Clearly, the priority of Ukrainians, whatever your views on a carbon tax are, the carbon tax is not the priority of people of Ukraine. It's developing the economic capacity to continue to wage this war successfully. It's having access to the munitions they need, and it's us developing together in those resource areas which can displace exports from Russia. So we're very aligned. I think you see renegotiation of some of these provisions, but we're very aligned and want to see strong economic cooperation as well.
Thank you, Mr. Genuis, and I appreciate your time, and I love your вишиванка as well.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. Нашим гостем сьогодні був член парламенту від консервативної партії Канади, Шервуд Парк, Форт Саскачеван, Гарнет Дженіус, який є автором законопроекту, що вимагає пришвидшити військову допомогу для України і зробити її набагато більш ефективнішою. Дякую, що ви з нами. Нагадаю, що повні версії нашої програми можна дивитися на нашому YouTube-каналі. Дякую за увагу. На все добре.